hell did I do that? It's so stupid. Good morning, everyone. That just reminds me, one of our anesthesia providers, every single day he comes in, he goes, "Good morning." I told him, I said, I want to record you and put that as my alarm clock tone because it just makes me happy. Anyway, we are outside today because I've got a very, very busy day and I want to try and get my walk in before it gets insanely hot. Oh my gosh. If you are on the West Coast, I hope, West Coast, did I say that right? I hope you are staying cool because it is just going to be insane this week. Oh my gosh. So anyway, you are taking a walk with me today and we are switching gears. I had a topic in mind. Well, Steve had really had a topic picked for me. He didn't know what it was, but I was on the phone with him when I was going through my little topic cards. The first one I pulled it out and I go, oh my gosh, that brings back awful memories. And he goes, all right, you go with that one. If that's the reaction you had, then that's the one you go with. And I said, oh my gosh, fine. And it was gonna be another embarrassing story, which was just kind of funny to me because not long ago, him and I had been talking and I had asked him, we were on a long car trip and so we were just talking about everything, and I had asked him, I said, what's your most embarrassing story? And of course he had a million things to share because he always has, he's a huge storyteller, so he always has a million things to say. It's so fun. And he asked me too, and I said, I can't really think of anything, honestly. Like, I'm pretty reserved and I'm very careful. Like, I take great caution not to embarrass myself because that is just the worst feeling in the world for me. And I honestly couldn't think of anything. I mean, obviously I've had pretty embarrassing things happen, but nothing out of the ordinary. So it was just so, thinking about it as I was starting my walk, I was like, this is so weird that for me being so quiet and not feeling like I have any like most embarrassing story to tell, that these videos keep coming up as being reflections on embarrassing stories. And then as I was trying to get started, I couldn't do it. I couldn't record the video because, or as Steve would say, because I felt so embarrassed. And it just got me thinking about, honestly, kind of how flawed that is. And about how weird I can be sometimes and my personality can be sometimes. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk about that because it's just so weird. It's something I think about all the time. It's something that I want to say Steve has noticed. My family has definitely mentioned before. Other people have mentioned before. And that I'm really curious to learn about all of you guys too, is what would you call it? The things about your personality that contradict each other. Like, I am extremely introverted, yet, you know, I'll be super bubbly. Very, very talkative person when conversation gets going, when there's already something to kind of laugh about, when there's certain people in the room who are very, very outgoing and will just get you talking. Like, there's no way you can't talk around them because they never stop. I'll be very bubbly around Steve because he talks more than he breathes. He's always telling jokes. He's always trying to make me laugh. Like, he's nuts. I'll talk a lot most of the time around my family because, you know, around your family you can You can BS, you can whine and complain, you can laugh about things, you can tell old stories, whatever. I'll also be pretty quiet around then too. You know, so I'm super quiet and I like to be invisible. Yet, when I was in high school, and even still really, my favorite hobby was to be up on stage in front of a crowd. Which I'm like, okay, those completely contradict each other. Like, yeah, being super bubbly and loving to dance and be in musicals, and I don't mind giving speeches, I don't mind teaching classes, that doesn't make me nervous, I enjoy it, I love sharing information. Even this, I love making videos, getting to share that. I love singing, I love getting to do all of those things and share that with people and I don't mind being in front of a crowd. Yet, like on a day-to-day basis, I will get irritated, honestly, if I can't be invisible. And I mean like completely invisible, like in the grocery store, somebody looks at me kind of thing. And so, and like I said, when I was starting this video, I'm walking along this neighborhood and you can see this place is huge. This park, I love it, it's just gorgeous. But it took me a probably full lap to be able to actually start recording. I was on such high alert about everybody around me. There was one girl out of this whole park, there was one girl walking along, and I very specifically started walking in the same direction she was going so that we wouldn't cross paths this way, and she wouldn't hear me or know that I was recording a video because I felt so embarrassed. I kept delaying because every time I went to hit record, a car would pass by, or I saw the mailman on the side of the street, or I would hear a car come up behind me, or I'd hear someone on a bike come up behind me, or I'd see people up on their front porches because it's beautiful weather out. Of course, everybody's out working in their yard and the garden and fixing up the house and everything, and there was like this paralyzed feeling of I have to wait until no one can see or hear me. And I almost went, even though I know, I'm like, I want to walk, I want to get my exercise in, I want to, you know, because I might not have time to go to the gym today, like this is my plan, it's beautiful out. I almost went and nixed all that and sat down behind a tree to do this video. And even at home, like I typically will only record these when I'm by myself, when my brother's at work. And if he's home, then I'll go out on the back porch. And when I used to live at home, when I would sing, I would go out in the garage. And it's just so weird to me why I do that. Because there's no reason to, you know? It's like, it makes me so curious about what in me makes me feel so, and not just embarrassed, but almost ashamed to just be. To be present, to speak, to be seen, to be heard. It's very, very strange, and it's even strange to say because it's not something I've ever really shared with people before. And honestly, it kind of feels embarrassing to even share because it feels very dramatic to say. And it's like, oh, come on, get yourself together, like get over yourself kind of thing. But it's, yeah, like I said, just very interesting. And things like that about our personalities where they completely clash, because it's one thing to be quiet, it's one thing to be introverted, but it's another thing to feel like you shouldn't be seen or heard, And it's just so interesting when something like that clashes with the side of us that can be so like bubbly and friendly and caring and fun and all of that. And I think a lot of times, a lot of it's natural, you know. It really just depends on the person, but you know, it kind of depends on what runs in your family. But a lot of times when you stop and think about it, it's interesting to see what comes up because of maybe experiences you've had with other people, coping mechanisms you've developed, barriers you've put up as like protection because of hard experiences that you've had. And that's something that we need to do all the time, is a constant self-reflection and seeing, who am I really? And of course that changes over time, because people will tell you all the time, I think. I definitely hear it a lot, is how you've changed. And you know, sometimes a lot of people will take that as a bad thing. Some people will really see that as a good thing, as a development, as growth. And so you constantly have to go through a analysis, a journey, you know, whatever you want to call it, of figuring out who you are and what's really at your core, not what someone's told you, not what someone has backed you into a corner to feel like. And that'll change, oh my gosh, all the time. Like you'll have it figured out, and then you'll self-analyze again, maybe if something comes up, or if you're just curious, or you just do something like today where I did this and I was like, why the hell did I do that? It's so stupid. Like, just hit record and go. And it makes you laugh. Like, whatever it is, you're constantly gonna reanalyze yourself. And a lot of times things that you think you figured out, you totally did not figure out. And you're gonna have to reanalyze it over again, and you'll find different answers sometimes. But it's just so interesting. So very interesting. And it happens all the time with other people too. There'll be people who I have known for years, who I've known intimately, family, Steve even. I feel like we had this conversation not long ago where I said something about how, oh, well, you're so like this, or, oh, this is totally you. And he goes, oh no. And people will do that all the time. They go, oh no, when this happens, I feel like this. Or, no, I can't stand doing this, or being here, or having, you know, being around this many people, or something like that. You know, and it'll be something the complete opposite of what I've ever observed or ever seen as their pattern. And it's due to different things. You know, a lot of times we just hide things really well because it's what you do. You know, your whole life isn't flailed out for the whole world to see. And so things like that come out very gradually depending on what area of intimacy people are in your life. Or sometimes just depending on what situations pop up in your life, the context hasn't occurred yet for that part of you to be shown. And so it's just so interesting to me, and I'll be like, really? Really? You're kidding me? Like, I never would have guessed. I have always seen this, or I have always heard you say this, and I just never ever would have guessed. And I love that. I love finding out those little things about people, especially people that you've known for a long time. Of course, it's always fun to find things out about people that are kind of new to your circle, but people who have been close to you for years, people who are in your family, it's so great to get those little snippets of new information about them. And it's what makes life so lively. You know, the different personalities, the different little quirks, the different talents, the different contributions that people add to life. It makes everything so alive and so different. You know, you could have a whole group of extroverts and there's going to be a bunch of differences between all of them. So many different talents, so many different thoughts, so many different little sub-personality traits. And same with a group of introverts. It's never a blanket statement. And I love that. So I would absolutely love if you guys would comment. Anyone who watches this video, if you would comment something about you. I know it's kind of weird to talk about yourself. Believe me, even though I've started this channel, it is super, super weird. And it feels very conceited and like self-centered to get on here and then just talk about yourself all the time. And so it's hard to kind of switch your brain and know that, you know, it's not that you're trying to overbear and just push yourself out there, but that you're sharing yourself. You're bringing more life to the rest of us. You're bringing more light and more joy and letting us learn more about you and growing, you know, letting that intimacy grow. And so I would love if any of you who watch this would comment down below something about your personality that you relate to with this video. Either something that you feel is very contradictory, like mine, where it's like, oh, on one hand, I'm super outgoing in this way, but in this way, I don't even want to be looked at, you know? Or something about yourself that you feel is maybe something that just really enhances other people's lives, even if it's something tiny. But anytime you say it or do it or have a specific interaction with people, they walk away just so much happier and more at peace. Or like Steve, anytime someone walks away from him, they're laughing. There are so many things like that about people, and it's something to be proud of. Those are gifts that God gave you only to you. And even if there's a million people who have a good sense of humor, there's only one person who has your unique sense of humor. Even if a million people know how to be caring, only you know how to be caring in your specific way. Even if there's a million people who are intelligent, only you know how to word it, how to analyze it in your specific way for someone to understand. And you're going to be able to touch people differently. And so, like I said, I love learning all of that kind of stuff about you guys. So please, please share. Sorry, I'm getting out of breath. I've been walking for a while now. Please do share all that. I would love to hear that about you guys, because it's not stuff that comes up very often in conversation. And yeah, I just hope this is one of those videos that will let us really get to know each other a lot better. And quickly, I am going to make a plug for another channel that I do follow, someone very, very close to me. They run a gaming channel. So this is for any of my gamer friends. The channel is called Forgiving Gaming. It's great, just getting off the ground. And anyone who knows me, I am not a gamer. I don't understand at all. Steve plays games and he'll try to explain it to me. And he'll go, "You have no idea what I just said, do you?" And I go, "Nope, but it sounds good and I'm trying to support you." So even if you have no clue what it means, I find the channel very entertaining. The videos are actually funny. You know, there's great music that I find myself dancing along to. There's a lot of great information. Like I said, even though I have no clue what it means, I can still tell that it's very, very informative. They're just very well put together. They're quick, short and sweet. I find myself laughing, especially the one was uploaded last week on Sunday. I was laughing my butt off, so please do go check it out. I will link that below, and I will see you all next week.